So welcome back. Burnside versus Old Collegians. This is a qualifying final. We have one from each. Tom Hankey from Burnside, Pete Cross from Old Coles.
Very excited to be here, sitting on the mic next to a man in the double blues next to me. It should be fun commentating today.
Can't wait. No, it's going to be really good. And I think for me, this is the one that I've been looking forward to the most in the preliminary finals draw. Both teams capable of playing really good rugby. Both teams score lots of points, concede plenty as well. Each team's beaten the other this season, all by very close margins. And you tend to get a lot of tries, lots of action, and it's a local rivalry. So yeah, game on. Really, really excited for this one.
So, the first Cooper's Premier Grade qualifying final. We've seen Premier Grade 2, University getting up on that one just by the 2 points. And we are about ready to go. Harrison Rahali will start us off. Peter Snoop Jackson in the middle. There's the first one as we go. Campion got there and Burnside have got their own kickoff. And we are off. Marshall. Rahali again. Looks into midfield. Finds Alan Henderson. Immelman to Marshall again. Now to Rahali. Misses out Walton, pulls it out the back, just a little bit too far behind, but we're coming back for a penalty.
Good opening 10 from Burnside. You must be enjoying that good start, Tom, seeing that good speed of the ruck and then looking to push it wide early.
Yeah, it was really nice. It's good to see, and plenty of good control as well. Again, looking to just keep the Collegians' defence just shifting and moving. It's really tough to defend against the team when they are getting the ball out really, really quickly as well. And that's exactly what we need to do and try and pedal them straight on the back foot early doors. And a good opportunity to get 3 points on the board within 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And Fraser Green. He's going to go there. I can't remember who I was talking to. He missed some important kicks last week. And someone put it down to practice. Apparently he hasn't practiced all year. Spent a bit of time practicing last week.
Yeah.
So hopefully no kicking practice this week for Fraser Green. But first one of the day. That wind is still there. It's still blowing the same way. It's almost right to left as Burnside look at it. Straight across the pitch. And that one is driven right through the middle. So 3 points to 0 early on, very early on. And Old Coles haven't really had a touch of the ball.
No, good start, really good start from Burnside. As I said earlier on, just trying to keep the fruition, keep the fluidity and the movement going. And we've done quite well to ascertain a penalty early doors, and here we go. But an opportunity for us now to get the ball back and see what we can muster up from here. I've got to stop referring to us as we as well. My apologies.
I think Crossy will just square that ledger there.
Yeah. Bit of nepotism for sure, but evenly balanced between the two of us, I think.
Brown trying to find a way out. Immelman has to go digging for it. Rahali sends it into midfield. Alan Henderson again, big and strong. Oh, just lost forward again. Joshua Graham making the tackle. Nice to see him back. It was an interesting one when the weather got us when we were over at your place.
Yep.
Had a little bit of a head clash with Fraser.
Geez, I wouldn't call it a little one.
It was a big one.
Yeah,
just completely
massive.
Split both of their eyebrows, didn't it?
Yeah, it was the entire width of both eyebrows were opened up, and the man-on-man and the player-on-player from the same team just were both down and out. So probably a bit of tape across that wound at the moment, just giving a bit of extra protection. Told me he took his own stitches out after a week early. Got a little, given a bit of bother in the bed.
Bartlett looking for a little bit of space. Rockaborough will just throw it out the back. Harm is out Burnside's way. But it was really interesting to see from that scrum. I've seen Rockaborough move into 9. I think Will Sadler just being put on ice a little bit just to give himself a little bit more recovery. But both McDonough and Coutser had chalk on their boots. They were taking up every single inch. Taking up every single inch of paddock out there. And I think that's something we're going to see them do, just try and run Burnside from touchline to touchline.
Yeah, you will, and it's something that we saw from the second game in the season that we covered at Parkinson Oval, Dave, and it's a real strength of theirs as well. And actually, with respect to Burnside, that's probably our Achilles heel in terms of trying to defend that. So that's going to be a really interesting and really intriguing battle in itself today, as well as many across the field.
Bouncing ball picked up by Fleetwood Piper. Out to Curtin. Looks just for an outside line. It's all a bit messy again. And a little knock on from Curtin.
These are those nerves at the
It's
start
5
of a
minutes.
game.
5 minutes in. You really can't be arguing with the referee and second guessing stuff now. Just settle into it. Speaking of Brighton, you can just see some of the Brighton coaches and players in the background.
just getting an early
eye-in.
look. Yep. Well, this game actually precedes what is going to be some really, really intriguing games amongst the top 5 teams, because I think anyone on any given day can beat anyone, and that's been shown over the course of the season as well.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
So Immelman will start us off again. Rahali again to Alan Henderson, who's obviously been given the he's got the work boots on today. Just a little bit too far in front and turned over. Now they can go out to this near side. Ball goes on the boot. Trying to turn them all around. Picked up by Barker. Barker just drops it cold.
Oh dear, you won't want to see that again.
No.
He will fast forward that bit watching it tomorrow. That's
just, yeah, they're one of those inexplicable ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it just took the little bit of pressure from the first carry that came his way that he just dropped. So and you can attest that and assign that to good pressure, I think. And this one, just not sure what happened here. He looked to just try and pass the ball out to Fraser and just dropped it forward.
Slipped through.
Now we've seen this look before from old Collegians. Coutser has come and he's just standing directly behind. No, I think this basically gives Bartlett options. He can go inside, he can go outside. They've decided to go to Coutser. Coutser shakes the first one, steps around. Coutser will go over.
What a sensational
before. Coutser knows where the camera is.
What a wonderful set piece try that was. I think the Burnside there had it slightly covered, and it was just a missed tackle, and just the pace in which got to hit it at. He was able to get pull an extra leg through.
Yeah. Yeah, and a tiny bit flat-footed as well, leading up into that defence. And I think that when he positions himself as he does, and like you said, he gives Chris Bartlett those options, it does create a certain degree of indecisiveness amongst the defenders as to what's going on out there as well. I'd probably also say on the scrummage side of things, probably drove the wrong way, just up the wrong side. It was loose head on, and ideally there, I think you want tight heads on that side.
Which then pushed the Burnside flankers
just out of reach,
out of reach of any position.
I mean, we've seen that. It's an almost carbon copy from the one that Fleetwood Piper scored at Brighton. But Coutser can finish.
He can. He's a very, very well established finisher.
Rockaborough taking his time. Goes through. So 7 points to 3. Well, that's how you start a rugby game.
Yeah, and I think I'm not too sure about the second game that was played at Tregenza, but certainly the game that was played at Parkinson in the second game of the season. I think we had about 3 tries in the first 10 minutes of the game, so more of the same, please.
Yep.
Burnside doing well and winning their own kickoff again. Lamsam to Marshall. Marshall will just put his head down and go. Takes on Mokomoko.
Seen a lot of that ball early doors, hasn't he?
Rahali will send it into midfield and Balcom trying to find his way through. Rahali again, then it will find its way to Ellis. Lamsam looks for some inside ball, manages a lovely offload to Walton, but forward.
Geez, I thought it looked quite good actually, even as a slightly biased Collegian. That looked like a... I didn't mind that offload at all.
As a slightly biased Burnside, I'd say that was really good actually, mate. So, no, it was good. Again, control pace, decent decision making, just a little bit unlucky when that's come through the offload. Just so slightly forward, but trying to again stretch out and stress out the opposition defence. You've got options all the way across the pitch, which is really good to see.
Well, the sun is coming out, doing what it can to shine on this qualifying final. Curtin just puts the boot on it.
Wonderful
and he's taking
nudge.
a lovely bounce.
That's outstanding.
Really good.
Just bright stuff down there.
This is some really good rugby in the open. Good hiking.
Quality of a small mistake on and capitalise. A small mistake was made early, which put the for 3 points. A little knock on, then immediately a scrum to a try. A little knock on there, then a good net gain with a kick. It just, when you at this higher level at the Premier grade, you just see how you punish for your mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brown. Burnside get that driving maul going from inside their own half. It would be an incredible achievement to go any further, but Dawes has managed to sort that one out, and they've turned it over to Fleetwood Piper. Fleetwood Piper will straighten, look to offload to Rockaborough. Gets there, just didn't go to the hands of McDonough, and goes into touch. They nearly turned the mess into something very, very good then. Offload was in hope more than anything else, but Rockaborough was in the right place at the right time, just couldn't find McDonough.
It's good support. It's very good support all round, and you see how quickly that they get that ball from one end from one side of the pitch to the other in quite a quick flash.
It is something that's worked on a lot at Collegians of taking an opportunity when there's a turnover.
Yeah.
It's very easy to have a turnover and look at it, okay, good, we're going to have a scrum now, or you could look at it, hang on, what position are they in now? If they were just gone from attack to defence, let's push it out to the wing and see if there's anything to match up.
And there's some really good opportunities when you do that, and you do that quite quickly, and they've again just shown that in that quick flash there.
Curtin into midfield. Coutser had come on that line again. I don't think he was expecting it.
Don't think he was.
And then it will be advantage to Burnside. What can they do? Alan Henderson again, doing the hard yards. Brown. Scragged to ground eventually. Barker will go into halfback. Rahali again. Marshall in midfield. Support is good enough. Immelman. Rahali off the toes. But we'll go back for the penalty for offside.
Just a quick couple of shout outs as well, I think. So we've got people that are watching the stream from England, from New Zealand, Scotland, all over. So this wonderful community, South Australian rugby that we're part of, is a lot more vast than we think sometimes, isn't it?
Well, there's people watching all over the world. Again, Burnside tidy, but just seeing that old Collegians, even from that point, are just working very hard to sack it, and they haven't managed it again. Lamsam goes forward. Immelman to Rahali. Out the back to Barker. Barker tries to get around the outside, can't get away from McDonough.
Does really well from being chopped on the line to picking it up and going again.
Good service from Immelman, and then Walton will send it out to Lamsam. Lamsam looking inside, shows a lot, and Kuta will finally get him and bundle him into touch. Penalty though, no arms. Lamsam is just a player that rises to these occasions. And if you're calling his name this early, you know that he wants to play. Because normally he just goes about his business quietly and then will pop up and red time and score a winning try.
Yeah, he can just find pockets of space anywhere, absolutely anywhere. And I've seen him multiple times over the years, you know, just cropping up in just certain areas you don't expect.
Burnside now just edging closer to the line. Then they will look away to the left-hand side. Trying to just burrow their way through.
That would be
not quite there.
I'd say, going for the trying to find that
Emmelman
pocket.
to Rahali will then send it to Alan Henderson. Massive hit again from McDonough. Out the back to Rahali. Rahali just puts his head down. Looked like a high one from Mokomoko.
Yeah, I thought that
it
as well.
Question, yep.
Again, just a lazy one, but body position of Rahali probably kept him out of the referee's notebook, you would say.
Well, I've seen Rahali score many from this close range, waiting till the time is right to just have a straight shot at the line.
So they're going to take another shot at goal. Fraser Green will go over there. There's a sight that not many old collegians want to see, and that's Gary Mann on all fours over there. Does not look overly comfortable, either that or he's lost a contact lens.
I think you'll be okay. Some people find just this little bit of extra guile and a couple of extra percenters in finals period, mate. So I think you should be okay.
So Green to bring us to within 1 point.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. He's looking for the contact lens.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
You all laughed at
Spot
me,
on.
see?
Yeah, I did. There you go.
It's going to be an interesting contest between who loses the most contact lenses, say between either Gary Mann or Angus Bankett.
Be swapping throughout the game.
I think so. I think Gary's probably just picked up Angus's.
Again, driven by Green and splits the uprights.
Well done from Burnside there. Got right in back into the sort of intentions known. They get into the attacking zone, they get points. It might not be the try they were looking for, but it's clear, you know, in the 22, let's get points.
Yeah, we said it in the earlier commentary as well, didn't we, Pete? The importance of just keeping that scoreboard ticking over in finals is just so vital. It's not something that you see a lot of during the minor rounds, but at this stage it's really, really vital, isn't it? Because you just don't know how it's going to pan out over the period of the game.
Curtin will restart. Deep one. Marshall sits underneath it. Rolls around one. Almost ran through Mann. Mann did enough just to get there. Brown. Clifton moving into the front row after his starring role in the centres last week.
Oh, wow, yeah.
That one will go over the back. Just saw Kuta shade his eyes then as that one went up, and we are sort of getting into dusk. So second half, that could come into play as well.
Yeah, particularly on the kickoffs. Start to see guys putting their hand to the forehead, trying to block it out, and it's never easy to catch a ball while you've got one hand blocking the sun.
Old Cole's line out. Come to the back to Campion, and just comes off the hand, and Walton will snaff it up. Rockaborough and Curtin have to deal with him. Immelman out the back to Rahali. Held it as long as he could. Two number 12s go to battle. Balcombe just managed to get it coming back the other way. Walton enters the 22. Marshall steps and straightens. Rahali drops it back inside. That door is shut on Lamsam.
Could be support. No support's got there quick.
Walton will pick and go. Saw someone missing on the edge. Immelman now will slow it down a little bit. Just ask for a pick and drive. And another one. We've seen them do this before, just pick away and pick away. Just keep going, Samuel. Now they will go outside. Rahali drops it inside. Alan Henderson reaches out and Alan Henderson scores. Alan Henderson did everything right. And they've used him as a battering ram, and finally he's broken through.
That was a really, really well worked try. Really well worked try. So you're looking at just the quick pick and goes, just keeping the old Collegians guys interested around that ruck area. And all he's done, he's just shifted it out a couple of positions out to Harrison, looked on the inside ball. And he's a powerful lad, is Isaac, really, really powerful lad. And he's all the time that he's on the front foot, and you've got guys that are just awaiting his attack and defence, that he's going to make yards all day long. And he's had a great season this season.
Just been watching two very definite channels. They've got a channel,
yep.
They like to run.
It's Alan Henson,
and and that's the 13 coming off the inside of the 10. So just look, that's a bit of the change of direction and just creating a bit of doubt of where are the players I need to mark up on in a back line, which ended up as a 13 running a good hard line through some tired forwards.
Restart again. Marshall goes to battle with man. And we'll go to Van Dissel. I think I've been done by the shirt names there. Who's the number 5?
So that's Angus Bankier.
Bankier, there we go. Walton. Just looks for space inside. Rahali sends it to this dangerous back three of old Collegians. Busby. Busby just puts the ball to boot.
It's long.
Yeah, I was going to say, I felt like he'd overcooked it right from the moment it came off his boot.
Just felt he had a bit more time then, he could have taken it much up to the line. The defence wasn't really flying up.
No, it wasn't, was it? I was pretty. I was going to be one of the points I was going to look at making. Actually, the line speed coming up from the defence, the chase just wasn't huge, but actually managed to get a little bit of success out of that.
And again, that driving maul is just being built. It's almost like practice runs for Burnside at the moment. Into midfield, inside ball to Green. Stopped but managed to get going again. Immelman to Rahali. Flat ball on the outside to Barker.
Great shot.
McDonough and Fleetwood Piper got him.
There's a combo that won't miss.
Curtin losing himself somewhat and going for a jackal. Bankier runs hard, but do you know what? Every single game that I've watched Liam McDonough play, I don't think I've seen him miss.
No, it's an outstanding technique, done at a furious pace.
Yeah, I mean, we joked about Matt Mooney being tackler of the year last year. If Liam McDonough's name is not in the conversation, it should be.
It should be. Giving them no time to get into. That's what often you legs quick before the right yards.
McDonough gets away. Rockaboy sends it out to Busby. Busby stands up, beats the first one, finally brought down. Rockaboy again looks on that far side. Curtin to Man. Man manages to offload to Graham. Another offload to Clifton. Oh, you're not going to get away with that. Rockaboy saw something he liked. And they will come back for the side entry. Oh, it's borderline professional foul for me. Just wrested all momentum away from old Collegians.
Look, I think it was just, it was a hard one. It was just Clifton out there.
To see him out there.
He's got a lot of plaudits over the last week, hasn't he? For what he's done and for what that performance that he put in against Souths as well. Just making some marauding runs and some lovely, delicious offloads as well.
So line out about 7 meters out We're going to see the battle of the driving mauls today because Old Coles have one as well. They've gone the shortened line out though, a little bit of movement. They're going to go to the front. Off the top to Rockaborough. Curtin. Round the back to Bartlett. Flat ball to McDonough. Curtin again. Flat ball to Graham. Graham got Brown for breakfast. Curtin. Clifton. Clifton one-on-one on the outside. Decided to come back to the safety. Graham has gone down. He's holding lower leg.
So Kay just stunned by that blindside shot.
That was a massive shot from Kiri Brown.
It's that wonderful from outside in.
Yeah, Kiri's not...
You don't see it coming.
He's not the biggest player in the world, Kiri Brown, but that is... It's all about technique.
No, and he's not, and you're absolutely right. And he punches well above his weight. And again, it's another example in this game early doors that we've seen of some decent tackling that's gone into play. And it's a lovely hit. I was just looking back on the footage, just took a rewind there, and he's come through. He's almost seen it coming a mile off, but it was a really, really good hit.
Yeah, we've got Nicola Roberts giving some love for Kiri there. Pretty impressed with that one. Go Kiri.
So Rahali will knock it into touch, still inside their own half. Was that an attacking high shot as well? Is that what the penalty was for? Anyway,
I'm not sure.
have a look at that later, but Barker gets away, throws it on the ground, gone forward.
Just lost one of his arms, I think, in the pass.
It's not great statistics for Barker at the moment. And it chopped away by Curtin, I think. So.
Yeah, he did. Just saw that then as well. I'm on a little bit of a lag at the moment, and
just in general, Tom.
Yeah,
just in general, Tom.
It's actually doing me a fair amount of favours, but no, he just got it chopped down a little bit by Curtin.
Curtin again. Now he looked for a little bit of space. Nothing there from Rahali. Rockaborough to Man. Tries to roll around the outside. Sits down. Alan Henson, sorry. To Campion.
Back from injury, Campion.
Yeah, good to see him back in the game, actually.
That's very, very clever from Walton. Unfortunately, it didn't work for him. Clifton.
To our outside centre, Clifton.
Too close in for him, I think. He needs at least a 70-metre try. Coutser does well. Gets around the outside. Shakes away. Manages to get inside the 22. Not really tackled. Rockaborough to Curtin. To Mokomoko. He manages to get back inside. Slows down a little bit. Rockaborough to Curtin. Curtin floats it over to Bartlett. Bartlett looks for outside. Can't quite get there.
Trouble here, I think.
Space out to the right-hand side if they can get there. Curtin to Dawes. Curtin steps back inside, then outside, then inside, then outside. Don't think he knew where he was going. Offside again.
And they've gone quick.
They've gone quick. Can they get it out to Fleetwood Piper? They can. Green did okay.
Powers.
Fleetwood Piper powers. That's how close he is to the line. We'll have to rebuild again. Rockaborough has to go digging. Just wait for a decision. Is he gone unplayable? If he goes unplayable, it would be Old Cole's ball. I think that's what he's gone with.
Yeah.
But just looking at Coutser, I thought we were going to have time to talk about it during the penalty, but how Coutser gets away in those situations is beyond me at times.
He's quick, evasive, strong player, again, we didn't see it there because I think he just lost his footing at the last minute there. And he's a very, very powerful finisher. He's been a really good addition for Coles this year and a massive part of their success.
And they've got him parked in the same place they were for the first try here.
Yeah.
Oh, Curtin will just step back inside, reach over the line, and Curtin will go. he will score under the post. I've talked about this before. The difficulty that you have defending against Old Coles is if you worry about the width, you give Curtin space. If you worry about Curtin, you give the width space.
And I was just thinking, as the game was building, he was being very kind. He seems to have hurt his shoulder a little bit in the process. Hopefully it's not too bad. He's been just distributing, and I'm waiting to see it, and he picks his times very well.
He does pick his times very well. Cut his teeth, a lot of touch football. So the ability to move in confined spaces and find space works very well for them, as Rockaborough will knock that one over.
Yeah, if you can jink through lines and score tries in touch footy, then you've got pretty impressive feet, and certainly not a skill I've ever had. Tom?
Oh, talk for yourself, mate.
Tom, you'd be
Tom in his dancing shoes.
dancing shoes, yeah.
But that's the problem that you're going to have with Curtin. You can't give him half an inch.
We've seen it a couple of times in the parts of this game so far. He has got that ability just to step and just throw you off guard a little bit, and I think he's done that. And inside covering defender, a little bit of confusion there between him and Harrison, I think.
Rockaborough into midfield. Strong defence from Burnside.
Jake Busby stepped into 10 at the moment for Old Collegians, I think.
Coutser, hit after the kick. I think they were committed to it. It's still going though over there between Coutser and Green. I'll just try and keep an eye on both. They're still at it. That one is knocked on. Curtin probably didn't want it with a sore shoulder. Fleetwood Piper looks to try and shake out the tackle. Can't. Rockaborough to Curtin. Curtin then puts it on the boot. Tries to turn Barker around. It's probably going to skip away. It's going to skip far too far. Going to come all the way back for a scrum.
Unfortunate there from Old Coles, real wasted opportunity.
Been a bit of to and throwing, isn't it, in the first 30 minutes of the game? It's you could go either way, and I think it's exactly what we thought we were going to see at the start of the game. It's two teams that are very, very equal, despite having different strengths. I think it's we've seen it again at the start of the season, and in the games that have been played. It's going to be very, very close, but it's going to be quite exciting, and it's going to keep everyone really enthralled, I think.
Yeah, well, there are different styles, but there's one thing they both have in common: they keep the pace quite high.
Yeah.
The transition from phase to phase is fast, whether it is just Burnside maybe keeping a bit closer to the ruck and goes on wide. But you know, we'll see here Burnside just build a good phase count and try and ramp it up quicker and quicker as it moves. So that they do have in common.
So Burnside away on that far side. Himmelman to Rahali, and then side option is Marshall. So that's not Marshall.
Zach Ellis.
Zach Ellis is the inside option, but there's a penalty for entry again. Just while we're waiting for this penalty, probably one of the biggest big ups this game can have. Christopher Maxwell saying good open game with hard tackles and runs, better than the Crows and power. You would say that.
Well, you don't see too many hard tackles on the AFL pitch. I'll just throw in there my 2 cents.
Why would you bother watching it anyway? I don't understand.
Far too many knock-ons for me, Tom.
Mate, just the handling errors galore, just frustrated.
So line out to Old Coles, just around 42 metres away from the Burnside line. They bring it down and start to move it. Burnside have done well just to arrest the forward momentum so far. Use it once. Rockaborough obliges. Curtin through the hands of Fleetwood Piper. Where's the bounce going to go? Nearly ended up with Alan Henson just knocked on.
Big breath in here on the commentary box. This is.
Just thought we were on then for a minute, but.
Everyone's all very well behaved at the moment. I think if the scoreline stays like this when we're in red time, I think we might hear an outburst one way or another. So half an hour gone in the blink of an eye.
Very true.
On the Wojtek scoreboard, 1 point the difference. That 1 point is in the favour of Old Collegians. Both teams kind of looking like they're starting to break out, but just not quite.
See College stacking this left-hand side, so freeing up the space on the right, but a good counter scrum.
Great counter scrum. Man does well to get rid of it though, and Rockaborough has to just settle things down. Ball's gone, been stolen. Burnside are away. Stepping back inside and stolen right back, Mokomoko. And that's just going to turn them around, but that could, oh, the bounce favourable this time. Barker takes his time and then we'll just clear it away.
Still
They're going to go quick.
Ball.
Oh, that's a terrible, terrible decision. He's going to press the loud pedal and away he will go. He will go under the posts.
Geez, that is devastating for a Collegian supporter to watch.
Yeah, I can hear a couple of cries in the background for offside. I'm just trying to relook at the replay. But
well, I mean, he's in front of the kicker by a long way. I mean, that's probably a law discussion. Yeah, I'm not sure. So it's Busby who thinks about it.
The ball's gone out.
Ball's gone out.
Believe,
does the offside reset?
we kind of sometimes just need a bit of a guest referee here just to explain the
guest referee.
Listen,
I would say he's onside once the ball goes out.
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely agree with you, Crossy, on this as well. I thought exactly that anyway. But no, good, really good try. And look, Balcombe, to be fair to him, he had a lot of work to do anyway, and he's read that throw really well. He's evaded the oncoming tackle from Fleetwood Piper that's come in as well, and he's gone to settle in under posts. And
the kick will go over. I mean, look, you would never ask him to do anything else. You're not gonna go. Well, I'm in front of the kicker. I'm not going to go there.
Wow. I mean, it comes.
But he's making his way up to the line out. It's essentially a line out, isn't it?
I think it's fair game.
Yep.
I think it's fine.
Particularly if you take it quick
We've
as
got
well.
a lot on
When it's gone into touch, I don't think
no offside when the ball goes into touch.
No,
there you go. Oh, there we go.
Thank you, Cole Mully. You can trust the Kiwi to know everything about rugby, can't you?
Oh, is that a Burnside? Is that a Burnside?
He is, yeah.
We can't trust him. Somebody impartial.
To be fair, he's I'm going to say he's impartial.
Not held, but got a release. That's always an interesting one. And then we're going to just go for some chat.
Yeah, this happened last week actually with Burnside against Brighton. There were a few times we got pinged back for chat.
Callum Walton says once ball is out, no offside. I'm not sure he's impartial either.
He's not. I do agree. I think that is the law, and that's about the key is the player who's about to receive that quick line out saying no, it's not on.
And do you know what? If you were Busby, you'd just be wanting to claw that back in as soon as you let it go. The line out 5 meters out for Old Collegians. They've gone the full line this time. They'll go to the back to Campion, who loses it, and Lamsam will come away. Lamsam will take on Rockaborough.
Interesting decision to take that to the back of the line out. Not always the nailed on ball.
It's not the highest percentage, is it? But when you've got Campion back there, he's normally faultless back there.
Absolutely, yeah, I totally agree.
But I believe it was an uncontested line out as well. They could have gone easy to 2. And, you know, for the low risk when it's uncontested, start the drive from there. If you need to push it out a bit wider, you can.
Yeah.
Long again and too long again.
Walton's going to come away with it. Can't keep going to the back. I just don't feel the conditions are conducive to back balls, but a little bit of crossing.
If anything, with the wind, will just take it a bit further. It holds the ball up a little longer and it's pushing it a bit further, so your long one becomes a really long one.
Yeah. 20 points to 14 as we approach half time. Old Collegian scrum again in midfield. Coutser has stayed out on that wing this time.
Yeah, Burnside are getting the turnovers off his lineouts, but not really consolidating, Tom.
No, and again, I think that's the point. Once it goes there, you got the options are, do you either pin them back and try and ascertain a territorial game and chuck it upfield, or do you want to play it? And we've gone a couple of times where we just try to play it, but then just made a mistake.
And Rockaborough sends it out and it bounces its way to Bartlett. Man went behind him, but he got there. A little bit isolated to supporting. Graham gets there. Rockaborough again to Curtin. And they'll go into midfield to Mokomoko. Kind of reborn himself as a back rower, Mokomoko.
He's in everywhere, man. Really, there's a except for the
Fleetwood Piper gets a little bit of room. Then we'll send it on to Coutser, and Coutser will finish in the corner. And the pendulum swings back yet again.
Very nice backline play there. Just the old-fashioned hands. Good depth from the backs. They held the space and preserved that wing channel for a nice, I think, a no-look pass.
Yeah,
right at the end.
and when you've got a finisher like Coutser outside, you're quite comfortable and confident to send that.
Yeah, it was, and the person who's distributed that pass can't. Just trying to get.
It's Fleetwood Piper.
Yeah, Fleetwood Piper. The one before that, he's really attracted the attention of about 3 Burnside defenders there, and you're left with the overlap. It's just clinical finishing, clinical rugby, and you've got to take your hat off to that.
Tough kick for Rockaborough, and 1 point the difference.
Yeah, and the wind
with the kick to come.
Wind will be going right back on him as well. So
we are in red time, but there has been a little bit of stoppage so far. So we will probably have the restart. This is about as tough a kick as it gets.
Yep.
Left-footed Rockaborough as well. Sends it on its way. Looks good from here. Flags stay down now. Oh, and there we go. That is half-time. 1 point the difference at half-time. We're going to go and gather our thoughts, and we'll be back with you for half number 2. So welcome back. All calls are in front of me, so I managed to sneak into that huddle and have a listen. Patience was the main message that came from Rod Smedley. Just be patient and do what we train. I think that's probably one of the most frustrating things for a coach is when you spend all week working on a process and then you go on a Saturday and they don't do it. That's terrible. But really interestingly, echoing our thoughts, when they split forwards and back, Peter Arnold very, very strong. Stop throwing the ball to the back of the lineup. Yep. It's too windy. So there was a lot of discussion around that. Also a lot of discussion around just taking the time as the forwards on the back, not rushing. I think there's a difference between going fast and rushing as far as, you know, the back of the rock.
Excellent tip back there.
I know, it's gone all the way back.
That was something from the volleyball court.
Lamson will tidy it up and we are off and running again. It doesn't feel like we've had a break at all. Marshall. Himmelman again to Rahali.
Thinks of kicking, then
yeah, just he
met heavily.
Stood up. Bartlett got him. Burnside just trying to build their way out of the back. Penalty for a high one.
I think from our perspective, from the viewer's perspective, and any spectator who's here at the moment, we just want more of the same.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
That was a really, really fantastic half of rugby, to-in and throw-in, some good quality. Yeah, just want to more of.
Yeah, as the showcase for the day.
Yeah.
With still, I think you still see a lot of the other clubs around just watching this top tier game and being very impressed.
So Walton with the lineup. Stolen. Rockaborough will find McDonough. McDonough will just do his best to relieve the pressure. Rockaborough again to Curtin.
Just touched.
It's gone backwards and Coutser's going to have to turn it around and do something with it. He's beaten the first one. Can he find a little bit of room? Just runs hard and straight every time he gets the ball, Coutser. Campion. Rockaborough looked for options, didn't have any.
Fortunate to get that. He was in a spot of trouble there with no real set runners. They just lost a bit of shape, Old Collegians.
I think it was the first one on the tackle on Campion. They just didn't roll away at all. Campion fooling absolutely no one. He loves it though.
Smile,
look at the smile on his face.
He'll be finding that moment on the replay tomorrow.
He'll dine out on that.
Yeah.
So let's see whether they listen to Peter Arnold. It's a coaching team really as far as Old Collegians goes with Rod Smedley and Peter Arnold.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have such good caliber coaches at our club, at Old Collegians.
Oh, and stolen. Bankier.
Maybe going to the front of the line out wouldn't be a great idea right now.
Well, once you got rid of the back and the front, what's left?
I know.
Well, they're going to get another go at it.
Angus is very effective line-out jumper, actually, I must say. A very, very big part of the game that he brings to Burnside.
Well, they go to the back.
That's better.
Corton and Campion will go. The ankle tap got him. Curtin to Fleetwood Piper, around the back to Bartlett. Bartlett didn't see anything he liked, so decided to just go. Curtin out. Then they'll go back inside to Howlett. Oh, took his eyes off it. Lost it forward and Burnside will get the scrum.
Yeah, just when it was building nicely for Collegians. Just Wes Billett there, just having the look at what was coming his way.
I was actually just looking what was outside of him there as well, and they'd stacked this right-hand touch line, you know, you got your main threat, obviously, Tristan, who sat on there with Fleetwood Piper, and you just sort of think, you know, when that's coming up against you, it screams danger at this stage, but good pressure from the Burnside defence there, forcing error.
Don't fancy a go at Tristan's surname, no?
Is it? So, Kurtzer. Because you pronounced it about 3 different times this year as well.
Well, I was always doing Kurtzer, and then he spoke to me, and it's Kurtzer.
Ah, okay.
Well, they turned him around.
Wonderful kick.
And the chase is good from Green. It's going to put them one-on-one.
Very, very good chase.
Green has got him. Offload is okay, though. Into in goal. Are they going to try and run away from here? Yes, they are. McDonough beat the first one. Now you would expect the exit play. Again, no real options. Mann, he's probably unlikely to put it on the boot. Doesn't need to. Silky skills from Mann. Mann gets away. He's desperate for support. Just tries to sit Barker down. Barker did enough. Offload comes to McDonough. McDonough will go as well. Rockaburn now. Burnside definitely on the back foot. Back to Mann. There's a second go at the arms out. That's got to be an offside. They were so slow coming back. Curtin now looks for a gap. Curtin finds a gap. Now Curtin presses the low panel. Barton will go over. And Curtin will score. That's just Burnside been run off the ground.
We just saw what was pretty much a 100-metre try, coast to coast, taters and toast. That was absolutely spectacular.
I'll tell you what, I've got to take my, well, if I had a hat that could fit over my outrageously large head, I'd take it off to Coles there, because you've just taken, I think it was Gary Mann who's got us under the, he's got us off on the foot for Collegians there. Ran it forward, evaded tackles, waited, good stand up in the end from Tony Barker, but the support came thick and fast. Yeah,
and they were always behind the ball from that point. It's one thing that we go all the way back. The kick wasn't bad. It put Kurtzer under a huge amount of pressure. He offloaded in goal.
Yep, in goal, and I thought, what is Old Collegians doing here? Set it up. Exit play, but gave it to Gary with really no options, still under his try line. It was almost a dummy to Nick Howlett, who really didn't want it out on the wing. And sold it, and then went straight through the middle. Massive bump in about the halfway line. Set it up for McDonough to then carry on further, and that's
just about.
And there's 2 injured Burnside players by the end of result.
One is Bankier, one is Barker. And there's a substitution sign for Barker.
I think that collision for Barker with
it was a big one.
Man, it was a big collision.
Here we go. Here's Gary Mann.
Yep.
Runs around the outside, then shows the dummy inside, and then he just presses. He's going to press the go button.
He's like looking for support.
Where is it? And then he gets a second go at it. Like you can see, he doesn't want it. Then it comes out here again, and it goes to Mann again, and you can almost see him say, no, I've done my bit. And there's someone saying, don't shoot the line. And it's Walton who has, because just trying to close things down. But at that point,
that's a psychological blow for Burnside, that try.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
That is, as you said, what did he say? Peanuts and toast?
Coast to coast with taters and toast.
Okay. I don't mind it. Rockaburn underneath it.
It's a couple of meals in between, Dave.
That sounds good.
I think there were a few players who wanted to stop for a break afterwards, or at least halfway through. Penalty in front of the post, 26 points to 20. And this is just going back and forward.
And we've got maybe the furthest shout out from Paul McFadden, a old collegian from Saudi Arabia.
Well, the UK is further away than Saudi Arabia. Geography.
Thank you, mate. Maybe I was just thinking of the weather conditions comparison to us in jackets and jumpers at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the UK is doing at the moment, but Saudi Arabia would always be nice, wouldn't it? So they are going to take the points and just bring it to a 3-point game again. That's not a good look for Barker as he limps away in front of us. So Eli Ipper has come into fullback. Just hear the wind lift just before his kick. He has a long build-up, Fraser Green, for his kick. I wondered at what point we started to think about the 60 seconds.
I often wonder whether referees really start to think about that.
Do they pay a massive amount of attention to it when you've not actually got a...
No, but I think you reach a point where you're like, oh, this feels long.
Yeah. No, you'd ask the question as an opposition player, wouldn't you, for sure?
He's got it. Drove it again.
Good day on the boot for him so far, actually, for Fraser.
I think he's 100% so far. To 23 points to 26.
Yeah. And again, I think we've been outscored. Sorry, I think Burnside have been outscored by Collegians by.
Well, this is their second penalty of the day.
Yeah.
I think it's 3-1. As far as tries?
As far as tries go.
Yep.
But you're keeping on the, as I said, as we said back earlier on in the piece, just keeping that scoreboard ticking over.
Scoreboard pressure. You do have to keep them busy.
Stop for a break for referee.
Oh, the referee's having some issues as well. They're getting a bit of a calf rub.
Well, in many ways from Burnside, it's very good to strike back after that beautiful try to get in a good position, knock over another 3 points, and going, yeah, good try, but here's 3.
Yeah.
And we're still right on you.
We're still in it. Short memories. Like, you can't dwell on anything. Good contestable kick-off again, and big red Jess Graham will come away with it. Rockaborough sends it to McDonough. McDonough just puts his head down, runs at a couple of double blue shirts, but they've got hands on. Did just enough with the clean out. Campion. Out to that far side to Mann. Rockaborough to Mokomoko. Rolls off the first tackle. Again, very, very nearly. And Kieran Sambrook's made his way into the game, I think.
Yeah, just saying hello quickly.
Rockaborough again to Mokomoko. A little bit isolated. Did enough to keep his feet, but it's been stolen.
What a brilliant steal. And Mokomoko is down after that one. Injury to the face, it looks like.
Rahali again. Daggers a kick towards the back. That's going to take a Burnside bounce. Needs it to hold up. Oh, Liam know the rules.
Could have put the foot over the sideline and made it a dead.
And then it would have been dead.
Yep, while it was still rolling. Yep.
Now it's a 22. Will Sadler just gave me a look. He knew what was it about. Yeah, that
1 foot over the dead ball line.
Yeah, and he would have been fine.
Yep.
But a 22 rather than a scrum way back, and it would have been just outside the 22.
Mokomoko's back on his feet, heading back, so it can't be too bad. Looks like he'd taken a nasty blow to around the eye region, but
3 tries to 2. Callum's telling me. At least someone's paying attention.
Do you know, it's so good having Callum as a top fan, isn't it? Doesn't miss a trick
And
at
that
all.
one's charged down. Graham just missed it. Dawes is going to come away with it.
I think the best thing with Callum, just don't talk about him.
Well, he is in New Zealand, so.
I think he's missing home a little bit.
Bartlett. Rockaborough again. Oh, Fleetwood Piper again. Tried the no-look pass, and that one just too far in front of Coutser. Forward into touch, so they'll get an option. Take the line out of the scrum. Which one are we going with? Scrum? Looks like a scrum.
Yeah, it looks like they're setting up for a scrum by the looks of things.
I'm interested to see what Burnside set up in the back line here. For the most part, it's been quite, I guess, the route 1, fairly pedestrian. I mean, they are setting up for the next phases, but if they just try and create a bit of doubt, we talked about it at half time, Tom, just trying to put the Old Coles defence out of position slightly, just to create some decent angles.
Well, Eliippa has gone to fullback, and now they're just trying to get it, and it's just gone to ground. Green sends it to Eliippa. He looks for a little bit of space inside, beat a couple, but Bartlett just managed to wrangle him in. Immelman will look, just has a sniff down the blind side. Rahali stands in at halfback. We'll find Lamsam. Lamsam steps back inside. Rahali again. Looks to step in. No room there. Wide ball, Eliippa. Samuel takes on a couple. Clifton almost got hands on. Clean out got him though. Rahali. Short ball again to Ellis. The old I can't move from Timmy Dawes. He can't move because Ellis has got hold of him. Seeing both of them just having fun down there.
Yeah.
Walton gets it back, then Rahali will find Marshall in midfield. Mann will deal with him. Rahali again. Lamsam steps inside Curtin, then just tries to accelerate away. Immelman again. And came off the long run, right off the boundary fence. Marshall.
It's building nicely here for Burnside.
Just making some yards.
Rahali sees
his back.
Rahali goes, steps on the inside, and Rahali, like he did in the first half, will reach over, and he will score underneath the posts.
I thought he had lost his footing there right at the wrong moment, but he's actually finished up for it. And look, I've got to say, from Burnside's perspective, that's taken a long time to build up, but they've done it. It's patient. Some good dummy runners that have gone in there, and Harrison, fair play to him. He's looked at it, he's seen the gap unfold in front of him, taken that in directly, scored under the posts, and it just, and the pendulum swings again. It goes in another way, and we just it's just.
I have to say that last picture.
I know what you're going to say.
Peter Arnold and Rob Smedley see that again, the number of red and blue shirts that are resting on the blind side and not working to get open, they won't like that at all.
Well, it's that good work getting down to that part of the pitch. That's the tries coaches want to see. You've got up to a high phase count up in the teens, and by that stage the defence is completely destroyed, and the 10 can just have a bit of a jog through and a nice little sidestep to finish. But as good as the length of the field try from Collegians was, that's a well-built try from Burnside.
It's a wonderfully built try, and it's really interesting because one of the things that Rob Smedley talked about was making sure that they got their A defenders sorted and trusting their width, and there they didn't get their short defence sorted. But Rahali again,
well done.
Almost a carbon copy of the one in the first half.
A nice little battle between him and Jack Curtin.
Yeah, right.
Oh, they're getting each other's way.
It's not an ideal start at all.
No.
Just a classic bit of confusion there, I think, because and normally as a person in front, you make way for the guy.
Have a sniff down this near side. Graham picks and goes. Rolls towards the 22. Howlett will have another little bite at it. Sambrook does what he can to bring him to ground. Mann runs straight at Walton. Walton slowed him down but didn't stop him. Sadler, arm comes out. Bartlett runs back on the short line. Mann
slicing through.
To go. Mann will go over, and Mann will score again.
I mean, that is a coach killer for Burnside.
Yeah.
Maybe the number one threat of the forward pack for Old Collegians has been left unmarked to glide through.
Well, I have to say, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying that, we've seen a couple of Old Coles games this year, and Gary Mann has not been the Gary Mann of old.
No.
But today, he's certainly saying, hang on, I'm not going anywhere yet.
Like, regardless of whether he throws a dummy or not, you'd want to be tackling him.
I think, given from a defensive perspective, given the threat that he's been in this game today, you're kind of looking at those defenders that are either side of him at the moment and saying, look, he's got to be a primary focus. We've got to work hard to get this guy down. He's on a roll.
Yep. If he bashes his way through and there's commitment on the defensive efforts, then it's not so bad. But that was an untouched try.
Kick is good, and we are back to 3 points the difference. Old Collegians 33, Burnside 30. I tell you who will be watching this and enjoying this is the men from Brighton. Because if they're watching two teams just beat each other up for 80 minutes and they get the loser out of this one, they'll be looking forward to that.
Dave, this is the rest I talked about. You do a bit of a cardio session in the morning, you come out here, you have a steak sandwich and watch your opposition beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Good restart from Rahali, giving everybody a chance. Billett rises, comes down with it. Rockaborough to Campion. Campion fancy to go, found a little bit of a gap. Sadler.
Blackall.
Benny Blackall sits Chris Walton down. That is the very definition of an impact player. Rockaborough puts it on the boot, turns the back three around. Introductions for Burnside as well, as Sean Meredith is there. He will just put it on the boot.
What up, Fuller? What up, Benny?
Interesting jersey choice for Shawnee Meredith, wearing the number 3.
Yeah.
He's the smallest person to ever put on that shirt in the world, I think.
Wearing it in honour of his favourite Burnside player. You wore number 3, didn't you, Tom?
I did indeed, yeah, I was going to say.
There
we go.
Little nod of the head to Tom Hankey. Another change, Lamsam is going.
Yeah, so there's a couple of changes for Burnside at this stage. So, I've noticed that Chris Hodgson has gone on as well. I think he's gone on for Leon Immelman.
I'm not sure I agree with that change. Lamsam is a game changer. With 20 minutes to go.
Depends on how he's feeling. I don't know if he's if there's any sort of pull-up injury. He's not played a lot of rugby this year, actually, Nigel.
I'm probably a bit biased, but I would play Nigel with one eye and one leg. Curtin, to nobody, but Rockaborough will pick it up. Good tackle by Sambrook. Benny Blackhall again. He has been brought in just to do one job.
Very good ball carrier, Blackhall.
Sadler again to Curtin. To Blackhall. Blackhall takes on a couple.
Oh, well done. Just attracting 3 or 4 defenders then.
Yep.
Curtin dives, steps and looks for a gap again. Not quite there. Nearly got everything. I'm laughing. I'll come back to that. Man, Strong, Bartlett, Fleetwood Piper to McDonough. McDonough steps inside, beats a couple. Big contact coming across. Sadler again. Graham. Walton's got hands on. And he gets it. Well done, Chris Walton. I had to laugh because I think it was Jacob Devlin swinging the arm, and I overheard him say they can't run without heads, jokingly, before the game. Putting it into practice though. Can't run without your head.
I think that penalty's coming at the right time for Burnside because the pressure was building there from Coles.
Yep.
Starting to seem like they've got they're ascertaining an upper hand at the moment. You've had some really strong carries from the guys that have been introduced to the old Collegians lineup on the field, and it's as I say, the pressure was on and it's coming at the right time.
Yeah, it just feels like they're starting to run Burnside into the ground at the moment. Burnside, well, they let them go. Well, that's because they let them go. And Mr. Jackson's allowed it. They mustn't have moved the ball. Whole Collegians didn't contest, just let them go. Could backfire. Alan Henson, who's gone quiet in the second half. Rahali, inside ball to Eliipa. Rahali, short ball to Devlin. Met by Gary Mann. Offside. And Rahali will go. It's just gone, everything's dropped a little bit, hasn't it? You've both gone very, very quiet as we start to get to the pointy end of this one.
We're starting to get to the end of it, and it's just tense as, isn't it?
It's very tense. Well, lovely work from Burnside there, the double penalty to pick you back down the field.
Interestingly, the last line out we saw where we saw Burnside go an absolute mile is because they just stayed out. Burnside famously had the try where if you don't move the ball, then you're okay because nobody's offside. But they are now in striking distance.
Long one over
they've
the
gone
top.
different. Marshall doesn't quite get away. Looks like his hands on, and that's a great jackal. Who's going to come up with it? I think it was Campion.
It could have been another impact player. We've got Dave O'Neill coming off Old Collegians. Could have been over the top of this, or is it Tristan?
It's Tristan and Campion. Coutser and Campion.
He's a winner, enjoyed those ones. I thought it was quite a nice play, well delivered off over the back, but then no communication of who will actually be a support player.
Yeah, and that was the bit for me because I was in the same boat as you, Pete. I thought that the change up of that call was really good. It was pretty fresh, and if you've got the support there straight away, it's going to be really tough for those forwards that are coming around the back or around the other side to get to the other side to try and deal with the threat that was out a little bit wider if they carried on going. But these things happen, and as a result of that, we're now, Burnside are now going to be pinned back slightly.
Well corrected, Tom. On the Wii, you're getting better.
Yeah, so I got told off at half time for saying Wii.
It wasn't told off. You were advised.
I was advised. Yeah,
you were advised.
And I completely agree.
So Aloe Emil will take over the lineup throwing details. They'll go to Billet, to Curtin, infield to Mann. Mann will just straighten this time. Good counter up from Burnside though. Sadler, again, there is Aloe Emil. Sadler. Blackall. Dealt with much better that time. And Fred Samuel will just a little bit of a loose carry. It's his, I think his blood was up and his ego was up.
Well, it's the one element of Blackall's game. I will say that because he's such a good, sized bloke, that people do attack the ball, and just needs to be careful that people will see an opportunity to try and attack the ball rather than try and bring him down. So just looking to try and put an extra arm over the top of it to secure it. But two good strike weapons with Aloe Emil and Blackall for the Collegians, real impact players they've brought on.
Some pretty powerful carriers in that Collegians pack, isn't there?
A lot of them very much ball runners who look for space, and often in some of those lower numbers you don't see it. Players just looking at faces to run at.
So Burnside will go again. Rahale pulls it out the back to Eliapa, and then Meredith just kind of shipped it to nobody really.
The first bit of variation from the Burnside backs of just pushing it a bit wider, and it was almost executed perfectly.
Yeah.
Just except for that last pass.
Keanu offers that as well. Actually, he plays a lot as he sees it unfold in front of him, and he'll find the gaps that perhaps would probably have caused more of a threat, I think, to Collegians' defence. The way we were talking at half time, Pete, about that. He's the person who's got that kind of footwork to put you in some good positions.
Oh, McDonough is in space over on that far side now. Tries to step back inside. Gets there. Almost feel like Old Coles are just trying to go sideline to sideline at the moment. Bartlett steps back inside. Marshall gets him. Rockaborough to Aloe Emil.
Space here.
Out to Billet. Billet steps back inside. Manages to offload to McDonough. Stolen away by Jep. And Burnside are going to get it. Still 3 points the difference. 67 minutes going on the Wojtek scoreboard. Goes into touch.
Just doing enough, Burnside, I think. Tom, is that what you're seeing? Just sort of the attacks on from Old Collegians, but managed to get those vital strips, turnovers.
Yep, and in prime positions as well. But I think once Collegians have got themselves into a flow, they've been pretty hard to stop. And when you look at the first half and how that unfolded as well, particularly out wide, they're very dangerous, very, very dangerous. And actually, we've been able to, Burnside have been able to limit that threat somewhat.
Eliapa runs across, looks for a runner. One of them is Sembrook. Arlen Henson. Graham gets there. Didn't beat the clean up. He'll come near side to Ellis. Rahale again into midfield. Now they're away. And Sadler gets him. Burnside now starting to build. Rahale. Offloaded to Jep. He just manages to keep the legs going.
Good strength.
Marshall again.
Just had to dodge Snoop then.
Well, I think he was looking to run directly at him. You can't defend where the referee is.
Oh, counter run from Old Collegians.
No, they're coming back for something else, I think. Yeah, the high tackle and Sadler, the old seatbelt tackle that you were talking about.
Used to be just a good quality tackle that people applauded.
There's not a lot more you can do, is there now?
No, it's a tricky one because it's a one where you're being clever about the way you're tackling to stop an offload. You're realising that this is a player who can offload, and you've taken the option of denying that with one arm over the shoulder coming down to around the waist section. For myself, I see it a bit unfortunate. It's come out of the game. They should really look at whether there's any malice involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I get where they're coming from, and I think we do need to protect the head and neck, and I understand it. So I'm not overly against it, and we just have to change. I mean, as we get ready for, I mean, we've probably got half an hour while Fraser is getting ready to kick. But you can talk about that, and probably, Tom, you're one of them. Going from, you know, a 5 metre run up to crouch, touch, engage, to crouch, bound, set. It's to protect people.
Yeah, and for me, I think that's one of the best law changes that have, or one of the best rule changes that has ever come out of rugby. And I know that there might be an old school smattering of people who are pretty draconian in the way that they feel about rugby law changes.
He's pulled it.
That's two.
Ooh, dear.
Just needed a little bit longer, maybe, Dave.
Be nice.
Yeah, that's the first miss, so
yeah,
you know.
Bad time to miss.
It is.
10 minutes to go.
But this is where he needs a short memory. He can't dwell on that.
No.
Curtin looks for a contestable. It's worked. McDonough will just drop on it. Throw yourself on the grenade. Sadler. Short ball to Blackall. Curtin.
Banana.
Yeah. Bounce is okay. Can they get out of here? Oh, met hard by
Massive
two.
contact.
And they will go back to Rahali.
It's great.
It's going to bounce. It's going to go all the way.
Yeah,
This
I
one
think it
will go all the way. Thought about it.
Just thinking that, just the contact he can get, the distance of his kick, it's just
it's
effortless as well.
But look where we're coming back to.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. I know you look for territorial gains as well, but you've got to try and be.
But there is no territorial gain there.
No, and that's what I'm saying. You look for the territorial gain, but there's just a little bit too much juice in it, and actually you end up it's again fine margins. You end up coming back to where you started in the first instance.
I think he dodged a bullet on the last one. If McDonough had, you know, spent his time reading his law book.
So you see here, similar old collegians, they've got McDonough sitting just inside Curtin's left shoulder, and then Chris Bartlett just right next to him.
Yeah,
there's a
three
little
of
pocket,
them
almost like a forward pocket.
There
Options.
he goes, McDonough.
Well, made a good clean line break in the first half, that play.
Curtin drops it back inside to Fleetwood Piper. Runs away from the first one. Rahali working really, really hard to corral him. Sadler to Mann. Oh, he's very isolated.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision, that one.
Did enough though. Expect them to go. Curtin to Blackall. Blackall stands in. First one got shrugged away. The second couple got him. Sadler has to go digging for it. Does to Curtin. Steps back inside again. Spins out of one. He got himself a little bit isolated, but again did enough. Sadler's looking for a gap. Just about scragged. No, half back. Counter ruck is coming. They've made enough of a mess of it, Burnside, and they'll get the penalty.
Just poor awareness from old collegians. They've had Will Sadler, the halfback, take a pick and go. That needs to be awareness from the guys that, for collegians, that we've got no halfback. It needs to be followed by another pick and go, or someone else needs to step up into the duties.
Yeah, exactly that. You just got to guard that that good work that you originally do as well, haven't you? And I'll give Curtin some credit where it's due, because he's done it a few times in the game, executed it really well in that step inside. But I think there's an opposition.
It's becoming a bit too much now.
Yeah, there's an opposition defender. You'd kind of be looking at that going, well, how's that actually not been worked out yet?
Well, they have, and he's persisting with it.
He's still making yards.
Well, true, but I mean, he's got the players out there, and I feel as well that they are starting to run Burnside off their legs at the moment. Even with the changes, they're starting to get there, and there has been occasions where he stepped in where you look out even further and you've got McDonough and Fleetwood Piper and Bartlett against forwards, but he's not giving it.
Yeah.
I think when he's trapped in those spaces, although he might make a couple of breaks,
Yeah.
they've actually corralled him.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of trying to catch a cat or something. You've got him in the corner, you know, and eventually he's going to run out of steam.
I'm sure he's going to love being likened to a cat. Not straight. Old Cole's balls. 5 minutes to go. 3 points the difference in favour of Old Collegians. We have seen Burnside in this position before. Will be a scrum. The dangerous Coutser is out here. We've seen that, just that little pod of backs again. So I don't know whether Sadler has an option between the three. I think you'll see McDonough and Bartlett go, and then he could have the option to go behind to Curtin.
Oh, well
done, but penalty.
Is it driving in from the side?
Driving, yeah, in and up was the signal. Yeah, that's the signal we've got. Mr. Hankey gets his notebook out.
No, I'm just rewatching.
So Arlo Emile will put the ball into this line out, and they're going to go shotgun quick.
It is
Sadler
quick.
To Curtin. This time they go outside. They'll wrap around to Bartlett. Man had a couple of bites at it. Meredith did well, and then Meredith will try and counter-ruck like a little terrier he is. Arlo Emile will bump the first one. Counter-ruck is good again from Burnside. Short ball to Blackhall. Blackhall works hard. Again, they will go out that far side. Bartlett had more than 2 bites at it. Couldn't really get it under control at all. Curtin to Dawes. Dawes will just put his head down and go. Curtin again. Again, he will look for that inside. Gets a couple of yards, but the covering defense across the back did enough. Dawes again. Straightens.
Great clean out coming in there to free it up.
Penalty. Side entry. I tell you what, every time you see Dawes carry a ball, I don't think I've ever seen him turn it over. You know it's going to come back.
He just gets his body in the right position, moves the ball, even in contact, he'll switch it from one arm to the other to make sure it's away from the potential threats.
Yeah, it's that movement after contact piece, isn't it? He's really good at that, and even if it looks as though the pressure's on, he'll take a couple of rolls across the floor and work really hard on the ground to try and present that well.
It's the other bit of dark arts, that one.
Yeah.
There's an interesting decision to be made here. A penalty will push them, make Burnside need a converted try to go in front. The try won't do it. It's an interesting decision. I think Rockaborough has been sent away. I think he wandered over there to ask the question.
Would you like me to?
Certainly I would be looking at it with, you know, we're in the shadows of this game right now.
And they've
taken the scrum.
Yep. It's been a bit of a chosen set piece for Collegians. As one, they build a platform. You see now straight away at the in that 10 channel, the little pod of backs.
So we'll probably just keep an eye on this side this time, Tom.
And I think they've improved quite drastically, Collegians, in the scrum game.
All look nice and straight. Sadler again, this time to Bartlett. Bartlett out the back to Curtin. Curtin to Rockaborough. Rockaborough just brought down. Fraser Green with the tackle. Bounces its way to Coutser.
Wow.
Coutser will get in. Coutser in tight spaces. He is unstoppable.
Just wonderful, wonderful, quick double phase back play. So that's just a quick hit up there that almost actually went over in that first play. A bit of a change in that pattern, which is then lightning fast ball for the backs again. Here, that I thought they could go over for all money.
Great. Rockaborough was so close.
But that's the winger brought in there, Fraser Green, and here's the opposite winger scoring.
We've talked about Smoking Joe in Brighton and how McDonough just doesn't let him get started. You're really starting to look at Coutser and saying the same sort of thing about him. You cannot let him get going.
That's sensational in and out work.
Yeah, really good. A great step. And you've got to look at the guy who's going against as well, which is Shawnee Meredith. And Shawnee is a very, very credible tackler.
Yeah.
So, you know, that footwork really, really needed from Coutser there to go in and score a try. It was a really good try, really well worked.
So 38 points to 30, and proving that I know nothing about rugby because they scored from the scrum, from the penalty. And with the kick to come.
It's a chosen set-piece play from Old Collegians. We saw it at Brighton at Tregenza, used twice, resulting in tries in the corner.
So a good look at it from here. The wind seems to have dropped for Rockaborough, right from the touchline. No, pulled it. Didn't give it enough chance.
So we're into the red in our area, aren't we? But
Yeah, there has been a couple of stoppages, but
yeah.
And I think broken field and bouncing ball, Coutser will always cause you problems.
Massively. Yeah.
So 8 points the difference. It's a big, big ask for Burnside. Well, they've almost taken step one.
Campion's done a very
Campion
important
has
job.
done absolutely fantastic. Graham, head down, straight forward. Sadler to Coutser. Coutser, again, just looking for a little bit of space.
You see, regardless of the time, when you have Will Sadler there at halfback, he just increases the pace of the game.
Curtin to Bartlett.
Wants to move it right away.
Bartlett finding some space inside. Sadler to Curtin. He's going to step and try and find a gap in the middle again. It's not there for him again. Sadler tried to have a little snipe, having absolutely none of it, and it's been stolen. Now they're trying to get away. Rahali out to Alan Hansen. Alan Hansen will just straighten. Not held again. Penalty. Was a tackle.
That's unfortunate.
I thought that was pretty unfortunate, to be fair.
Yeah,
I mean, you called it as well, Dave, in the commentary live just then, and wasn't held by the scene, by the looks of things. And
so he's saying it was a tackle, so you must release. If you tackle to ground, you must release. So there will be the line out. That's the old Collegians bench.
Yeah, it did for us look more like he just bumped to the ground.
Rob Smedley looks completely comfortable, doesn't he? No nerves at all. Nerves of steel, Rob Smedley. Alo Emile will go to the back. To come off the top.
And not straight.
And not straight.
The line-out woes of Collegians continue.
So a scrum, like we said, we don't really know how long is left to go. We know there's been a couple of stoppages, but it can't be much longer.
No, not entirely sure there's enough time to be able
for
to...
a converted try and a penalty.
Yeah.
Or 2 tries. The maths is starting to become a little bit unbalanced, Tom.
Yeah.
So Burnside scrum. Inside the old Collegians half. Rahali to Eliepa. Short ball to Meredith. Meredith will find a little bit of space. Covering tackle gets there. They can go again though. They do. Eliepa to Green. Green is tackled into touch. I don't think that's it.
And
Green is
injured his knee.
really struggling. It's the one that's not taped, which is probably a bad sign.
Hopefully he's okay. That was some first bit of real good deception.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not much time left on the clock, but slicing straight through where Meredith.
Great run from Meredith.
Look here.
He's already gone to
holding
it there.
it. Yep.
Yeah, that's not looking good, is it?
Not a doctor, but looks meniscus-y. So they'll look after him and see how he is. I think we're still going. There's no, don't think we've had a final whistle.
Well, as you said in the last game, Dave, our clock continues to run, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so
ours does.
you can always expect a little bit of us being a bit further in the red.
We will always be. Not like the famous one. We went down to Onkaparinga once and played a 60-minute first half once. So there is still time to go. The time is entirely in Mr. Jackson's hands.
The Collegians bench all sort of standing up, I think, waiting for the whistle to go and impeding our view. But I think that they.
But that's a really interesting point. Do you want to celebrate too much in this one, or is this just business as usual? I mean, I get that it's a final, but you know, you still got to go again next week.
Next week, you know, the loser of this game is going to play on a Sunday, and that's a shorter turnaround time. You know, and you need those rests. So, you know, I talk about it with the breaks you get. There is those advantages. Those are the advantages of a break. The advantages of playing on Saturday rather than Sunday. Before that next Saturday game. So it is a win, and I guess it's that big psychological blow as well. We're marching in the right direction for finals.
I think you've got to celebrate as many successes as you get, really, at the end of the day, and then we got.
Oh, it's stolen by Burnside. Rahali into midfield they go. It's going to come back. Rahali again to Eliipa. He will straighten, try and find a way through. Can't quite get there. Away they go again. Jep trying to find his way. The arm comes out, probably a high one. Rahali. Out the back to Marshall. Marshall tries to roll around the corner. That's the line there. They're almost on it. He is on it. That's a try. So try with the conversion to come.
So the Burnside guys have got back to their getting back to the halfway line quite quickly. I don't know how much time's left.
Well, we are going.
Okay, we're still going.
We're going.
Oh my God.
1 point in the difference, and there is still time. 37 points to Burnside, 38 to all Collegians. We will have at least one phase of play. I just had a glance to my right. It's not a pretty picture. These two gentlemen sat away to my right.
We've stopped looking at each other, Dave.
We stopped talking.
It's all got very, very quiet. Curtin. Is it contestable? It is contestable. Is it? It's going to end up in the hands of all Collegians. Is the time?
It's a good kick-off, that. Really good kick-off.
Blackall will go. Graham, he will go.
Questionable on a high shot then.
We saw Adelaide University do this. It's going to come back to Curtin. Curtin will send it away. Final whistle goes. 1 point the difference. All Collegians will go and face Brighton next week.
What a wonderful cliffhanger that was.
Burnside will have to back up on the Sunday, and they will take on the winner from tomorrow, which is Souths versus Onkaparinga. There's the try to bring them to within 1 point. And you talk about contestables. How important was that restart for all Collegians, Tom?
That was massive for Collegians, and they've dropped it right just directly in behind that 10-metre line. Really good chase up from the players and good intent to actually try and get that ball back. Slapped it back, got it back, and from then on it was just game over. Just a case of getting that ball out of play, and they go on to celebrate a very good win. We said there were going to be tries. We said it was going to be tight. It was exactly that. It was a brilliant showcase for South Australian rugby, and even though Brighton have got the rest, I think they'll be looking at this going, geez, we've got our work cut out here.
Well, tomorrow we will see Souths take on Onkaparinga, and Elizabeth will take on the Barossa. We will be with you probably from about 5 to 2 tomorrow. Until then, get a good night's rest. You're probably going to need it, and we will speak to you tomorrow.